It's only awkward if you make it awkward. Wise words from my then 13-year-old daughter. Dad, it's only awkward if you make it awkward. Here's the context. She has a good friend who had this boyfriend, and they were together for a few months. They broke up, and then she moves across the street from her ex-boyfriend, 13-year-old teenage love. And my daughter asked her, "Isn't that awkward?" And her friend replied, "It's only awkward if you make it awkward." I thought that was so awesome. Well, fast forward a few months, and my daughter now likes the same boy. Friend, best friend's ex boyfriend. And she asked her friend, "Is this okay?" And her friend said to her again, "It's only awkward if we make it awkward." Now, I love raising children. Parenting is so much fun. I often want to bang my head against the wall because I don't have a clue what I'm doing. And yet, when we slow down, our kids are full of wisdom. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. Fast forward 26 years to my 39-year-old self at the time of this recording. And I, yesterday, was on the phone with my coach. And I was struggling with some things that I am not experiencing that I want to be experiencing in my life and my business. And I was feeling frustrated. And I was telling myself, just trust the process. It's all going to work out. Be patient. Just keep going. But the strain inside me, the stress, the fight, just wouldn't relent. And as I explained what was going on with my good coach, my good friend, mentor, I love him. He's amazing. He said to me, "Andrew, what would it feel like to surrender, to truly give this problem back to God?" And literally say, not like in a, in a, what's the word? Not in a, like not in an unholy, inappropriate way, not in a, oh, there's a word I'm looking for, it's not coming, but I think you know what I'm saying. Not in a way that is messing with or, with God, but just saying, "Hey, this is your problem, God." And then I told him, I love that. And I teach this. I actually teach it in my book that I wrote, Strength of the Oak, Strength of the Willow. I teach surrender. Surrender comes from the French word sur, which means over, and rendre, which means to give back. When we surrender, we're not giving up. We're giving back. And what are we giving back? Control. We're giving back power. We're giving back our will. And who are we giving it to? God. I once heard this amazing quote from Wayne Dyer's autobiography. It's called "I Can See Clearly Now." And Wayne Dyer said that he had this little sign on his desk. And the sign said, "Good morning, this is God. I will be handling all your problems today and I will not need your help. So have a good day." I then went and found that quote because it was so moving to me. And I have it now in my office. And I sent it to my good friend because I felt like he and I both needed to work on this. Good morning, this is God. I will be handling all your problems today. I will not need your help. So have a great day. I've been staring at that for years. And my coach reminded me of it just yesterday. What would it feel like to surrender and give this problem back to God? It's only awkward if you make it awkward. It's only a problem if you make it a problem. Because what we focus on expands. And if we focus on our problems and we make them bigger problems, that's what we end up getting. We get more problems, more negative energy, more feelings of stress, more anxiousness. We start to feel like we're not going to be able to overcome what it is that we want to overcome. So the solution, let go. Surrender. Give this problem back to God. And And what I have found in literally just 18 hours of this journey, as I have learned at other times in my life, that once we give it back to God, it's not a problem anymore. Why is that? Because He's the answer. He's the solution. All He has are solutions. If you put anything in front of God, it's not a problem anymore. It's like taking a 10-cent debt that a child might have, and they're like, I don't know how to pay this debt back. Where am I going to get 10 cents? And you're like, hey, I got this. Let me pay this debt for you. There's a beautiful spiritual learning there as well, because that's what Christ did for us. He paid a debt we could never pay back, giving us life, the ability to live after this life. Mortality isn't the end, and giving us eternal life, the ability to be with Him and like Him forever. That's an incredible gift. And when we take our perceived problems that are imprisoning us today, usually just in our minds that we're making up and giving negative energy and attention to, and we place them before God, they seem pretty small, actually. And when we can trust Him and let Him provide the solutions, then we can put ourselves into a more calm, empowering, faith-filled state, where then we will most likely be able to go and take everything He's given us, all the resources that are already there, and overcome this problem. And if not, then we wait, and we're in a great state. And we recognize that we're doing everything we can, and the rest is in His hands. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. It's only a problem if you hold on to it. We can give our problems away. And when we do, we're free. Now, there's some very important neuroscience to understand about this as well. This isn't just faith-based. Where neurons in your brain are wiring together and firing together over and over, and these neurons are connecting every time we have a thought. And every time we have that thought, that wiring process where they're firing continues to grow. And then what happens is, I want you to think of the tiniest thread. Just one single strand of thread is one thought. And when we have that same thought again, it's like taking another strand and just twisting it together. And we have that same thought again, and we twist it together. And now we have this piece of string, several thin strands strung together. And we set it aside, and then later we come back and we have the same thoughts in a different situation or a different time in our life. A new day, a new problem. And we have that same thought again and again and again, and then we have this new string. And then we bring all of these strings over time together, and we twist those strings together, and we have a rope. And then we do this throughout our lifetime, and then we have several ropes that we're twisting together. I was once on a fishing boat in Alaska. Biggest rope I've ever seen. What was it? Just a bunch of big ropes twisted together. And all those big ropes are made up of littler ropes, and it's one strand after another after another. That's what's happening in your brain. Every time you have the same thought, that continues on and on and on again. It gets stronger because it's wiring and firing together. And then it becomes your reality. And then you begin to find those same things over and over and over again all around you. And it's fascinating that what you seek, you find. You're asking for the quantum field, the universe. You're asking to validate your truths and your reality. Now, what I get to do as a coach is what my good coach did for me yesterday. I challenged that reality, and you can do it too. You can take this problem that you have, and you can write down how it's a problem. I did this last night with the problems that my coach helped me identify, and I wrote down, what are all the things that I'm holding on to that are limiting me, that I know aren't true, but they really feel it. And I wrote them all down. And then right next to each one, I wrote the truth. And what that does is it breaks that pattern. You're no longer creating future problems that are the same problems you've been having up to this point. You're planting a new seed. You're creating new neural pathways in your brain, new neurons that are wiring and firing together. And when we can interrupt that pattern, break those thoughts, then we can create something new. We can begin to find things that we've never seen before. Solutions, abundance, help, resources, money, love, friendship, connection, business partners, investors, the right tools, everything that we need will begin to come to us as we begin to seek it. When you have a problem, you have a choice. You can focus on the problem and make it bigger, or you can focus on giving that problem back to God, to surrender, and create new beliefs and identify what is true and find those things to create new realities, which changes you as a person. Your personal realities then become this new personality of who you are and how you show up for the world. You can do this. It's very simple. It might not be easy if we make it hard. And yet when we have a guide like I do, when we have a coach, when we have friends and mentors who help us see things that we're not able to see and identify patterns of thoughts and behaviors that aren't serving us, it becomes a lot easier. If this has been helpful for you today, can I ask you to do something, please? Will you just like this video? And if you want more, will you please subscribe? And share it. Share it with someone that you feel would benefit from this as well today. Once you share something, you have greater ownership of it. Because now there's someone that can talk with you about it, that can hold you accountable to it. In our sharing, we don't lose what we have. It multiplies, it strengthens. And I invite you to do that. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing this video.